It was time already. I hadn't purchased any pattern magazine since last year, and I was willing to, because it's always interesting to see any different styles, different designs, and what new things the magazine brings, which there's something that caught my eye, I'll tell you later. So it's always good. And another thing is that, well, you have so many patterns in here, you can sew the whole year round. It doesn't matter really the season, because you can adapt your patterns more or less to your taste and to your needs. So it's always good. It's a good investment. So let's have a look. There are lots of interesting stuff to choose from. I really wanted to do some loungewear they have in here, but they didn't have the suitable fabric in my fabric store. So I have to go to another one. And from the time being, I've been sewing loads of dresses and I have loads of skirts as well. So I think a t-shirt, it's a good idea. And I'll be sewing some trousers as well soon. And I found this material. I got it when I got this one last year, and I still have it. It's lovely in a mustard, really wintry color, autumn winter. And there's a lovely t-shirt, different, with an asymmetrical design that I think is going to be really nice. There's no doubt pattern magazines are really beautiful to look at. It reminds me of when I was a little girl and I used to have a look at my grandma's, but nowadays it takes me a longer time to figure out which line to follow. So if you're like me, you're learning on your own and you still get lost in all of these lines, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. I'm willing to make mistakes for us, and I love how this community is growing and all the little tips you leave on the comments. Stick around, I think it's going to be an interesting project, because even though it's a simple t-shirt, it has a 2-level difficulty. I don't know why. So let's see how I do. And I'm going to use, for the first time ever, a double needle, a twin needle. So let's see how that goes. In the first few pages of the instructions, there is the measuring table. So take into account you have to measure yourself before you start cutting anything. I'm a 36 apparently. My measurements are a 36. So it is in red on sheet A. Let me start by taking the patterns out so we can work properly here. Oh, so afraid of breaking it. Does anyone know any other way to take the patterns out? I have my pattern cut. Let's start putting away stuff, because if not everything, well, this is already a mess, but even worse. I'm going to start placing my pattern on top of the fabric, and I'm going to do it all together. I can't fold it because the front and back panels are different, so I'm going to put them right next to each other, but the sleeves I can fold and cut. It seems to me that Burda patterns always ask you for a lot of fabric, but take into account that this is for a few different sizes. So maybe if I'm a size 36, but if you're a bigger size, you wouldn't be able to fit the sleeves on the same row as the rest of your patterns, so that's why. So don't be afraid. It says here when cutting to leave 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance and then 3 centimeters for hemming. I'm not going to leave 1.5 centimeters for seam allowance because I'll be sewing with the overlocker, with the serger, so that sews right on the edge, and if I leave more, it'll be too loose. And I was telling you before that Burda has added something interesting. I haven't bought Burda since February last year, so I don't know if this is a new addition from this year or if it's been already there for months, but it says it has a little step-by-step for professionals, not step-by-step, but only the titles like sewing side seams, sewing shoulders and things like that, really quickly. So that's quite good for people who know what they're doing to sew quite fast, really efficient. So I'm going to start by sewing the side seams right sides together and the right shoulder. So now for the asymmetrical strap, you have to sew it right sides together with the left side and then cut the seam allowance. I don't get it. But then on the next step you have to sew it on the inside, right sides together, and then cut again, and that's why it's a too difficulty project. So because I don't understand, I'm going to do it as I think it is. I'm not sure. So I'm going to hem the neckline on the t-shirt and on the strap first, and then sew it together. And to hem it, I'm going to use my new twin needle. Let's see how that goes. And for the twin needle, you need, of course, two spools, and I'm going to put one of them inside. I have a little jar, and you can use a glass, I guess, as well. So, and you have to thread it all the way around, the same one. I'm a bit nervous. And then pray, I think. As you can see, it took me a few goes. I don't know why it wasn't sewing, it was skipping stitches, and then as well, it was skipping stitches. So I tried threading it again, I tried different tensions, still doing it. So then in the end, my last option was to change the bobbin, and it worked. So now I have a white bobbin in there, so that's it. I don't know why, maybe the other one was a bit loose, maybe, I don't know, machines, you know. So I'm going to hem the neckline and the strap so I can then sew it together. So I managed to do it. I don't know if I am too happy with it, because now and then it skips a stitch. I don't know why, but it might be the machine, because I've always had problems sewing stretchier materials with this machine. I don't know why, it doesn't really like it. It's a cheap machine, I can't ask for anything else really. But well, it's done. I did it, I guess. And then now I'm going to sew the strap right sides together to the front and back of the t-shirt to make the second shoulder. So this is looking good. I managed to do that. I tried it on and it fits. But I don't know, I'm still having a look at this and I can't figure out the steps they ask me to do. I don't know, it says something about basting, sewing by hand, then in the end it says to sew with the twin needle. I don't know how many steps, I'm not sure. I did it my way and it works, so now I'm going to sew the sleeves together so I can then sew them to the t-shirt. And now it says to sew the sleeves. Oh, what's this in English? That's going to be fun. Gathered, like gathered? Not gathered, is it? Is that a word? Embed seam. Embed seam. So it tells you it's something, it happens when one side, one panel is bigger than the other, so you need not to gather it, but you embed so they become the same size without pleats or gathers. So let's see how that works. I say that a lot, eh? Let's see how that works. Let's see how I do. I don't know if I did something right or if I did something wrong, but I didn't have to embed anything. So, well, at least I had to look it up and see what it was, and I learned something new today. But anyways, now what I have left to do is with the twin needle again to hem the sleeves and the bottom of the top. So let's do that. I guess I could have done it before if I had done the steps differently. I'm not sure. Well, doesn't matter. So this is the final result. I quite like it. It's always useful to have a t-shirt in the house, and I really like this one. And even though I measure myself, I think it's a bit looser than what I'm used to. It doesn't really matter. It's okay. It's tight, but it's not as tight as the other one I have, for example. But it's okay. The only thing is that it's really long. It's rather long. It says here it is 18 centimeters long from your waistline, but if I measure myself from my waistline down here, it says it's almost 30 centimeters long. So I don't know, I cut it as I cut the pattern, so it's for taller people, I guess. And the sleeves the same. I thought the sleeves were a bit long before I hemmed them, so I cut 5 centimeters of them, and they look like long sleeves now, even though I always do this because I like being like this. And for the rest, the only thing is the twin needle. I don't know why it skipped stitches again on the sleeves hem. I don't know why. It's just it shouldn't, because it sewed the hemline perfectly fine, so it shouldn't do that. But you know, machines, you can't really ask for more. And what else? This bit, I'm not sure at all if I did this properly or not. I think now that I've read it like 25,000 times more, I think I should have cut double this part to somehow sew it seamless on the inside. I'm not sure. If you have this magazine, if you happen to have it or seen this project and you know what I had to do, I appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you like this kind of content, and to stick around for a while. I leave you a Burda link here with other projects I've made, so you stay for a while. See you next time.